right, boys, we are back. Thanks for everybody joining us. It is week 3 or episode 3 of the Corner Fantasy Football Show here, and I'm here always with our good friend Joe and my friend Steve. Boys, how are you guys doing this evening?
I'm
Pretty
doing great. How about you,
pretty
Joe?
good.
How you doing,
Yeah, how
Joe?
was that vacation? Everyone wants to know.
Everyone, it was good. Love spending a week with family, and everybody goes crazy. And with 3 young kids, it makes it even more insane. But in the grand scheme of things, it was fun. I'm glad to be home and recording in my normal space and not outside dealing with the elements that I was dealing with last week. Thank you for asking. All right. So let's jump right in. And as you guys could see by the title of this episode, we are talking about players that we are actually targeting in the draft, that we actually want on our teams, our personal teams, and 6 draft strategies that you are want to take into this actual draft this year. And that's going to be done by Esteban over there, aka Big Poppy. I can't say that. I really can't say that.
We'll
I
get
can't
used
call
to
him that.
it.
He's
You can
Bonnie.
call me
He's Bonnie to
Papacito.
me.
That's good.
But let's jump right in. There was actually a lot of news and notes, especially coming in from last Wednesday when we recorded. So big things. Bijan, Zay Flowers, they both got big extensions, so they're happy. Bijan especially got rid of his sit-in holdout he was doing. That's the new thing, so he doesn't get fined for missing practices. He's there. He's just not participating. There were some major injuries that did happen. First of all, Bonnie's favorite wide receiver, Ricky Pearsall. Well, he's out for the year with a PCL sprain. You gotta love
Another
those.
Niner down.
Another Niner down. You know what it is? It's the electrical station. I'm kidding. It's not the electrical station. It's that coaching. It's that training staff. It is atrocious. It is probably the worst in the NFL. They botched Brock Purdy last year. I mean, that's bad. Um, this Jalen Walker, who's the linebacker for Atlanta, he tore his ACL. He's out for the year. That's a big blow for that defense. And for Chicago, which already was dealing with injuries to the secondary position, a lot of tough on the defense. Kobe Parker, who was their big free agent signing from the Super Bowl Seahawks, he's out 8 to 10 weeks with a knee injury. So that's a blow for that defense. And we're mentioning the defensive players because that does affect maybe their offensive opponents and how you're viewing them. Because if, especially in Kobe Bryant in the Bears defense, which has lost a lot, having lost that secondary player, that means maybe the defense is not good. Maybe that offense they're playing against throws more. Something to keep in mind. Other fun news. It's reported that Tua is projected to start week 1 for Atlanta.
What
And
I
as I
tell
said
you?
last week, that is a big boost for Kyle Pitts and a major downgrade for Drake London because Tua cannot throw deep, which is Drake London's bread and butter. So, but Pitts is also making waves that he looks actually great in camp. That doesn't mean anything. Uh,
Well, they
today,
used they actually used Mooney deep a lot.
they
Um,
did, but it's Tua. But they had quarterbacks who could throw deep. Tua can't throw deep.
yeah, it's true. That's true.
Tua throws short. So the two big news stories that happened today, Wednesday, this afternoon. First one was Stephon Diggs signing with Washington, being the number 2 behind Scary Terry. I think that's gonna be great for him because he does a lot of that underneath stuff and short yardage stuff that could benefit the Commanders. And the big news coming out of LA, Aaron Donald was trying out for the Rams and he was in a helmet. He didn't wear pads, but he was training out at the facility. I would not be shocked if they sign him for like a 1 year deal or minimum. And that defense is becoming very scary. I mean, everybody knows they traded for Myles Garrett this offseason. That was a big thing. They got rid of Verse, but Garrett is easily better.
Wait,
Then
when
you
you said he's
got,
trying out, they're making Aaron Donald do tryouts. I
well,
just
yeah,
don't
they still
believe
got to
that.
make sure he's in game shape. He's been out of the league for several years,
So they're
but
just kind of just testing him to
They
see if
probably
he
just have
can
to go
like.
through the process. It's probably
they
like
have
a
to go through
fun.
it. I would not be shocked if on Thursday or Friday or some point this weekend he is signed to a 1 year deal. And
Yeah,
and
yeah.
honestly, if you think about it, they don't need much from Aaron Donald. They don't. Miles Garrett basically. did a lot of that double teaming that happened. Got double teamed a lot, and that's what Aaron Donald did. Now you put Aaron Donald on the other side, and let's say you throw him in for passing situations when you know you need a pass rush, second and long,
It
third
could be
and long.
huge. He could be make a
That is
humongous
major.
difference.
And besides those two, the Rams focused heavily on their defense this offseason. Let's not forget that. Besides Myles Garrett, they signed Jalen Watson from Kansas City, who had a great season, and they traded for Trent McDuffie from Kansas City. So their biggest issues or the biggest weakness last year was their secondary. And they just solidified that with two solid cornerbacks who could play almost lockdown and go after the ball. On top of re-signing their safety from last year, with the potential of adding Aaron Donald to this, that is a very formidable defense. And that is a defense you definitely want to keep an eye on going into the draft season because they are much better. What do you think about all that news stories, Joe? We got a bunch of stuff that came through. We were waiting for all that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised about the Aaron Donald thing. And from what I heard, that they'll actually keep him on like a snap count anyway, even if they do sign him because of his age. So he'll probably be in there, maybe on like third downs, things like that, to really disrupt the pass rush. I mean, so, but yeah, the Rams are going to be really good again. They probably are the favorites coming out of the NFC. I don't know if they actually, if that's how the odds come out, but they're still pretty good. As long as, because I know Matthew Stafford is getting older, but as long as he can stay healthy, they should be fine.
Right. And the Super Bowl is at SoFi this year, so there is motivation to play at home for the Super Bowl again.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we've seen that quite a bit in the last 7 years. But didn't Tampa play a home Super Bowl game, and someone else played a home Super Bowl game too, I think. I
Well,
don't know.
the most notably was the Rams. I remember they beat the Bengals at SoFi a couple of years ago.
Okay, so it would be the second time in like so many
Right.
years. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Geez, that's nuts.
Bonnie, what do you think about all those news stories that filtered through? I mean, you probably are hurt because of Ricky getting injured.
I mean, I didn't have a huge connection with Ricky because he's been hurt a lot. I did like him when he was healthy, but whatever. I like
He's your
Stephon
boy.
Diggs with the Commanders. I like the Commanders. I like what's his name, JD5. He's a stud when he's healthy. And I do think that the Rams are going to be a buzzsaw this year. I think they're going to be able to lean on the run a little more with Blake Corum. Give Kyron some rest, keep him fresh for the postseason, and get Corum some more reps. So I think Corum might be a good, middle round pick or something this year.
Middle round. I wouldn't be late round. I wouldn't get him in the middle.
Or late,
But
yeah, I'm late.
I know what you're saying. He'd be, I mean, if you're the Kyron owner, you definitely want to make sure, and handcuffing its own little strategy on its own. But, if you've got Kyron, you definitely want to make sure you're getting Corum just in case something happens. You're covered on that one. But I agree. And I mean, there's a lot of great, stories. Bijan getting paid. So now all eyes go to Detroit for what happens to Gibbs because he's doing the same thing. Him and Bijan were doing sit-in holdouts because they both want to get paid in their contracts. So,
Did they both come in the same year?
I believe
I thought
so.
Bijan had one more year. Came in like a year earlier. Or am I
No, I
wrong?
think they came the same year on that
Oh,
one
wow.
because that was the rookie years. Yeah, you particularly were big on both Bijan and Gibbs. I remember you
I
were
had
happy to
them
get.
both.
You did when they were rookies. I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah, no, they both did. So they're both holding out for the
Listen, I
And you
always
still
have a
didn't
stacked
win?
team. I
No, he traded me
constantly have
Gibbs
a
early. No,
stacked
no.
team.
That was the year he traded me Gibbs in like the early part of the season. And he was all like gun ho and smiling and laughing about it when Gibbs was off to a slow start. And
Yeah, but
then
I
Gibbs
got
took
like I'm
off for
sure
me
a
on
haul.
started that amazing run for me.
I'm
Wow.
sure I got a haul for Gibbs.
No wonder the man hasn't won a chip since what is it,
Oh,
15 years ago?
please.
I
I'm
like to keep
always
bringing
this
this
far
up.
away.
This
So
far away. He keeps on dreaming.
so close.
So close yet so far.
You just
All
asked the
right.
champ from last year, Sal. He was like sweating bullets in that last game we played.
Right.
And
What
I
was, oh,
mean,
that was
what's
right.
his
Wait,
name?
wait. Was that the
Gordon had to
championship or was that
straight
no? That
up
was the
like cheat to beat
semifinals.
my
That's
team.
right. You didn't even make it to the championship, and then you lost the third place game as well. So you didn't even get paid in our season. So
I
all
don't
that
think I
hard
started my
work for
guys in third place
nothing.
game.
All right. Well, enough of racking on Bonnie and his shortcomings in fantasy. Let's just jump right into the meat thing. So, we all have players that we really love targeting. Like these are our guys, I guess you can say. And, you really want to make sure like those are your targets. You want to bring them to your team. So we each have our own version of that. Now, we're not focusing on guys you can get in the first couple of rounds. I mean, that's straightforward. In the first couple of rounds, you really want to take the best possible players there. There's so many good top talent that you should never struggle finding somebody to fill to get to draft, whether that's, getting a quarterback, getting a running back, wide receiver. There's multiple targets. But we're looking beyond the second round and in some cases beyond the third round and all the way in round 10, I guess you can say. Finding those players that could help your team that not many people are really talking about. And Steve, who do you have as your first guy? You are like saying that is the guy I need to take in my draft on it has to be on the team dream team.
Okay. This isn't the first guy, but I'm gonna this is like my second guy. My first guy, you really want to hear about this guy. So Parker Washington.
No, I,
I
I want
like
the other
Parker
guy first, but okay,
Washington.
fine. Let's go straight to Parker.
I like Parker Washington. He's not ranked too high. He's actually not even the highest ranked wide receiver on his team. But he's proven that he can put up those numbers. Last year he went on a crazy tear at the end of the year. They relied on him heavily in the playoffs. And that right there was kind of the thing that made me that really made me like flip the switch and be like, all right, I like Parker Washington. He produced in the playoffs. If you can do that, like you're golden. The coaching staff loves him. He's a stud. I think he's ranked too low for what he can produce.
So his average draft position right now is 93.2. So if we're talking about in a 12 team PPR league, what is that? That's round 8, 9, somewhere in that range,
Yeah,
approximately.
that's way too late for him. I think he could be a top 12 wide receiver this year.
Okay. Joe, how do you feel about that statement?
That might be a little delusional.
Yeah.
I think just over when you look at the Jaguars overall, I think they punched above their weight last year. I'm not really sold on Jacksonville, and I'm not sold going into for them going into this season. Now, Washington as a player, he's pretty decent, but I think what holds him back, and the reason why I still can't get behind the Jaguars is I'm not a Trevor Lawrence fan. I'm not big on him being consistent. He's not consistent. I don't think I mean, he started to become a little bit consistent last year, but again, nothing that I saw that I was wowed by. And I think he's going to go through the same problems, and that inconsistency drips over to his receivers. I mean, and their run game, now that ETN's gone, who, I'm blanking on who replaced ETN.
Tootin.
By
Tootin,
Shal
that's
Tootin.
right. Eh, I, I don't know. I'm a top 12. I think that's crazy. But I mean, I don't know how far up I would reach for him. Maybe a round up, if you needed some wide receiver depth quickly. But I don't think I'd pull for him too much. But again, this is who Esteban wants on his personal team. So you know what I mean? I get it. When you like the guys you like them. So it doesn't matter what anyone else says. So, but for me, I probably wouldn't reach for him.
So I'm gonna kind of jump the gun here because this kind of brings up my guy that I had for mine, and it ties into Parker Washington, and my first guy is actually Jacoby Myers, and the reason I'm saying Jacoby Myers, first of all, you get him 3 rounds later. He's 100 average draft position is 125.7. Now, the reason why I'm saying Esteban is extremely wrong with this with Parker Washington. Parker Washington exclusively plays out of the slot. The reason why Parker Washington played so many games or so many snaps outside and wide last year. Travis Hunter got hurt, and Brian Thomas Jr. was hurt. They both missed a good chunk of time, so they were forced to play that. Jacoby Myers plays outside. Now, this season, they've already said that Travis Hunter's exclusively going to be playing defense. They may filter him on offense a bit, but he's exclusively playing cornerback, where he's actually the better of the two positions. But here's the big thing. Liam Cohen expressly said this year that the Jaguars were awful at 12 personnel, and that is with two tight ends and two wide receivers, not 11 personnel, which is the three wides. Brenton Strange signed an extension, so he's around. They're going to keep him playing. The Jaguars also spent two draft picks this past season on tight ends. So they are going big. They are basically copying what Sean McVay did last season in LA, and they're going to go more big in that 12 personnel. Now, when there's two tight ends on the field, you can only have two wide receivers. And I can tell you this right now, Parker Washington is not starting over Brian Thomas Jr., who was their first round pick several few years ago, and they're not starting him over Jacoby Myers, who they just re-signed to a massive contract. So,
Sounds like a bet is in order. Sounds like a
so
bet is in
let's
order.
we'll swing back around to that later on. But let's break down the Jacoby Myers thing because he was traded midway through the season. He left Oakland, or excuse me, Las Vegas, came to Jacksonville, and in 9 games, he got 61 in just the regular season, so I'm not including playoffs. 61 targets, 42 receptions for 483 yards and 3 scores. Outside from the first game where they just kind of gently brought him in the offense, he did not see less than 6 targets a game. So I
Okay,
mean,
let me ask you this. Was
sure,
he outplayed by Parker Washington over the last 4 or 5 weeks and playoffs?
but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happened last season.
It doesn't matter. Okay. Okay.
It really doesn't because that's last season. At the same time, again, Parker Washington exclusively plays the slot. That's exactly what he started the season as the slot receiver. He was forced to outside because of injuries and that.
And he did great.
You're right, he did. But are you telling me that he's going to start over a wide receiver they extended and the number one wide receiver on the team, Brian Thomas Jr.? The answer is no. He's not.
Okay.
And that's why, if anybody, why would you waste an eighth round pick on a wide receiver garbage man who's basically a slot receiver versus the number two wide receiver who can actually give you, and in this long term of this thing, like wide receiver 3 flex. He's got the
The funny
base
thing
floor.
is that the ADP does not agree with your theory over here because Parker Washington is rated higher, uh, much higher than Jacoby Myers. So I mean, you can have your position, and I respect your position. But what I say is, you put your money where your mouth is, and we lay a bet on who has better numbers over the course of this coming year: Parker Washington versus Jacoby Myers.
Done.
All right,
Look at
But
that,
let's
done.
but
we'll
let's but
settle
let's
it
just
over
I'm
our
gonna
Discord.
I'm gonna throw two names at you. So teammates as well, same situation, where one player is drafted higher currently over the second one, and we all agree that the second player is better than the first.
All
Luther
right, let's hear
Burden
it.
and Rome Odunze. We all agree that Rome is better than Luther, but Luther is being drafted higher.
There's a difference here, though. The Luther thing is like hype. This is all. He had like one good game, I think, in the playoffs. And Roma
You're
Dunze was
focusing on
hurt.
playoffs. The fantasy season ends in the regular season.
Roma
Who cares
Dunze
about
was
the
hurt
playoffs?
last year. It's like a different. You can't really like compare them like that. But I hear what you're saying. I do think Roma Dunze is going to be better than Luther Burden. So I understand your argument, but I don't. I wouldn't say they're like exactly the same situation. But
Can I,
You heard it
can I
here,
what's the other
say
folks.
one? You
one
said
thing
you had
really
another one?
quickly?
Go ahead, Joe.
I'm a really big fan of Jacoby Myers. He, over the last 2 seasons, is like an automatic 10 to 15 points a game. And that's his floor. Like
Right.
when he's healthy, he is good. And he's done that in Las Vegas. And like I get it. Jacksonville's not a jump up from that, but he's so good, he can overcompensate for what the team and the quarterback lacks. And Jacoby Myers, once he starts showing that again, is going to overshadow like the third wide receiver. I think Washington could be a good stash player, but I don't know if I'd reach for him, but I would reach for Jacoby.
And I'm just going to say one more thing about this as well. When I look at Jacoby Myers and I look at him at that 125 draft range, that is so late in the draft. By this point in time, I should have my number one, number two, and hopefully in our league we start three wide receivers and then there's a flex. So I'm viewing Jacoby Myers as either at this point in time my bye week flex guy that I could just plug and play, especially if somebody gets hurt, or he's my flex wide receiver that I can throw in there. So I'm not expecting him to put up top wide receiver one numbers. I'm not expecting him to be like Puka Nakua, CeeDee Lamb. I don't see that. If I can get 10 to 15 points out of the guy each week, out of my flex, I am
Awesome.
happy. And that's what you kind of want to strive for. And that's where I kind of went with my guys. But I had to do that to get that in because especially when he did Parker. Now, Joe, who is your first guy that you are saying I got to take him?
Yeah, so I'm not scared to reach for guys. I think the first time I ever really went out of my way to reach for someone, everyone made such a big deal out of it. I remember it, and honestly, it paid off. I did get lucky because it was the year Roddy White went off. Like he had a coming out party, and he was like, I think he was like a seventh rounder. People were taking him in the sixth or seventh. I took him in the first. And people were like, "What is wrong with you? Are you even taking this seriously?" I'm like, "He's going to be the best wide receiver." And he ended up that way. So I'm not afraid to reach on guys. And of course, I'm very biased with some of my guys. So, or in some of the teams that I take my guys from. So the first guy is Dallas Goedert. I think in a league where it's very tough to get a consistent tight end and a really good tight end, um, I like Dallas Goedert. I like him because he had not such a great season last year. I like a rebound season here from him. And also, AJ Brown isn't there anymore. So Devonta Smith obviously is number one. He's a great wide receiver, but Goddard is still going to get a lot of the looks out of the passing game. And from a tight end, I could see him consistently putting up 8 to 12 a week. And for me, that's worth the reach. An extra 2 rounds maybe ahead. I wouldn't reach any more than that, but Dallas Goddard would be someone who I would absolutely reach for.
So Dallas Goedert right now on Yahoo is ADP is 105.5. So he's right around that same range as Parker Washington is.
I'd
I
take
think
Goddard 10
I
times out
take
of 10
Gardner
over
over
Parker
Parker
Washington.
Washington easily on that part.
No way.
Well, Bonnie, how do you feel about taking Dallas Goedert to Joe? I mean, we know Joe's love for Eagles.
This is actually one of my strats, the tight end thing. And I really do think there's like maybe three tight ends that you can rely on this year. So it'd probably be wise to take one of them. And I'm sorry, Joe, but Dallas Goddard's not one of them, in my opinion.
That's fine. This is again, these are our own personal guys that we
Yeah.
like
Right.
read for. So yeah, I get it, but yeah, I'm just like Shalongi said, I'm very biased towards the Eagles.
Absolutely. And
So
I mean, Goddard's not bad. He is reliable. I think he's getting a little up there in age, and I'm curious because it how that offense is going to function because AJ Brown is gone, and there are going to be a lot of eyes on that offense, and how it functions, especially with all the changes that did happen for that Eagles team and the fantasy disappointment they were last season because a lot of people had Hurts, AJ Brown. I drafted AJ Brown last year. We all remember how that happened for me. He just,
yeah,
I mean, he
last
still
year.
finished actually wide receiver in the top 15. He finished a wide receiver one, but earlier in the season, he was atrocious. Devontae was, good. So it's interesting to see where Goddard is. I think they will have a bounce back. I am curious to see how if they let Hurts throw a little bit more and let him cook a little bit. So,
Yeah. If I played last year, I would have faded the Eagle players. And that says a lot because most of them came off record years,
right.
fantasy numbers the year before. So I wouldn't expect that to happen 2 years in a row. So yeah, I think there's a bounce back this year, but that
Absolutely. Steve, who's your second player that you are gung ho about?
Second player, hold up. All right, I'm gonna throw you guys a curveball. You didn't know this one. The third
You're
one
not
you would
doing the
know,
track.
but
You're not doing your boy DJ.
we're only doing two players.
Yeah.
All right, then I'm gonna do DJ.
Who was
DJ
the
Moore,
third player?
baby.
Who was the player I just made you jump off of?
It was Chuba. It's Chuba. There's a lot of hype around this Jonathan Brooks guy or whatever from I think he used to be a first round draft pick like a couple years ago, and he's
Hmm.
like quote unquote healthy this year, but he's coming off like two torn ACLs or two ACL injuries, so it's like I can't trust that. And Chuba, he wasn't the regular Chuba last year, but I think he could probably supplant himself as the starter this year. But yeah,
Yeah,
my
no,
other guy,
we don't need to talk about Chuba or any Carolina Panther for that matter. But Brooks is useless. He
yeah,
since
I
the
think there's too
injuries
much
he's
hype
done
around
nothing.
Brooks.
So, but go DJ. We like DJ.
DJM's been my boy for several years. You all know that, and I'm taking him again this year, unless someone snipes him from me and takes him unreasonably high. I will probably reach
No.
for him. What's his ADP this year?
Let's see. The Trash Panda, aka DJ Moore. He is 65.7. So he's in a 12 team. He's in that fifth, sixth round range right there.
Okay. Oh, he's right around like Jameson Williams, Mike Evans, Roma Dunze, Christian Watson. Uh, I would take DJM over Jameson Williams, over Mike Evans,
Oh,
over Terry McLaurin. Uh,
ooh. Well, that
yeah,
well, actually, I
over
would.
Egbuka. I take him over Egbuka. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm
agree
I,
with all
I'm
that.
very
Yeah.
high on DJ Moore this year.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, when Josh Allen is your quarterback, you're going to be extremely high on him. And let's add another fun caveat onto this one. When DJ Moore had his best years in Carolina, who was the OC?
I can't remember. I don't even know.
Joe Brady, the coach of Buffalo. So he is
Oh
now
shit.
reunited with his coach from Carolina, where he had good years as a younger player who knows how to motivate him properly. No, I agree. As much as I trash DJ Moore, and I do, it's more because of your infatuation love with him, which it is. No, he is good. I think he's going to be a solid um, wide receiver two, wide receiver one potential. The problem I have with DJ Moore, and again, it's the history is he does take off plays. Took off plays in Carolina, took off plays in Chicago. It's his downside. Now,
He didn't take off plays in Carolina really. In Chicago he did,
yeah,
but I fucking hate Caleb Williams, and I'm sure DJ Moore hated him too. Caleb Williams is a bitch. Like he was like just bad to DJM for that entire time DJM was there. They just
because Roma
never
Dunze was his
gel.
boy. Roma Dunze
Caleb
was the
Williams is
alpha.
pretty good, man. I don't know what you
Yeah.
He's trash, bro. He really is trash. He doesn't know what he's doing out there, and he's gonna be exposed this year. Watch. I don't think the Bears are gonna be that great.
Listen, I don't know how you could be high on Trevor Lawrence and be that down on Caleb Williams. I don't understand that at all. But all
Give
right.
me Trev Dog, baby, every time.
Get out of here.
Draft him. Go ahead. Draft him
I
as your QB
might.
one.
I might draft Trev Dog.
And then please take Parker Washington with him too, and they could just go
Stack
together.
that wonder
Got the
duo up.
stack.
Yeah. So Joe, how do you feel about DJ Moore, Joe?
I agree actually with Esteban here. DJ Moore, I mean, that's I don't have any special affinity towards him, but I like him this year specifically because he's on the Bills. I think he's going to help Josh Allen open up the pass game a little bit more. I really do like his speed. I don't. I feel like Josh Allen is gonna. No, 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 sorry, not Josh Allen. DJ Moore is gonna have a Stefon Diggs-esque year. He's not going to be as good as Stefon Diggs was in Buffalo, I don't think. But I think he's going to have a Stefon Diggs-esque season slash impact there. And
Mhm.
I agree with him. I would take DJ Moore over all of the guys,
I mean,
Esteban.
Diggs had a
So,
pretty good year last year in terms of
well, he
in
was in
ter-
New England last year.
oh, that's right, he was in New England. I'm sorry. I was gonna say, I was like, yeah, in Buffalo. No, it was 2 years ago. Jesus. I didn't wake up. But he was also your guy, Bonnie. You love Diggs too.
Yeah, I like Diggs. He's
There you
good.
go. Joe, who's your second player?
So, yeah, there's a common theme. We're gonna stick with the Eagles. So just, I mean, again, because this is all our personal opinion preference, and
Right.
there's no secret. My draft strategy is stacking guys and not on the same team where I think that team could put up points. And my favorite stack is a QB running back stack. Um, and so that already has won me a championship 2 years ago, and I'm excited to try to copycat that into this year. So Jalen Hurts is my second guy because Jalen Hurts is projected, you said, to go in, what was it, the sixth round or the fifth round? Um, and I would absolutely reach for him in a second round or a third round, and, you know, run back a championship run. I like, the Eagles stack is my top target. I have a couple, I think I told you I have a couple others if that doesn't pan out, but my top stack choice is definitely stacking Philadelphia, and Jalen Hurts anchors that complete situation.
Right. I mean, he's definitely one of those top echelon quarterbacks. I think for me personally, I think I have him as my like fifth quarterback because I mean you've got in my personal opinion you've got Josh Allen as the clear cut number one. Let's not kid ourselves. Everybody has him one and top guy. You have to.
That's the
I love
championship
that.
elixir.
I love that. But no, I mean, I got Hurts, Lamar, I mean, or Josh Allen. But I do have Hurts as one of the top guys there. I mean, in our league in particular, when it is 14 teams, I think certain players that we expect to go that normally should go later in like a 12 team or even 10, definitely 12 team, it might go a little earlier because people are concerned they're not going to get the certain player when it comes back around because there's an extra 2 picks per round. So you're talking about an extra 4 picks before you have an opportunity to draft again. But yeah, I mean, a third round for Hurts, I don't know if I could do that personally. If he was sitting at me in the fourth, depending on where I am and what my situation is, I would probably grab him. Especially because he is 56 is his average draft position right now. So I mean, it's not that far out of the realm. Um,
I wouldn't be afraid to nab him in the second if I had to. If I really felt like there was some,
I think
if
you
I,
did that. I think the year you won, you did grab him. I think you went Saquon Hurts 1-2. If
yeah,
I remember
and
correctly.
I would not hesitate to do the same thing this year.
All right, Bonnie, how do you feel?
I think Hertz is a better fantasy quarterback than he is like a real life quarterback. He's gonna get you a lot of those goal line TDs. He can run. He's pretty smart when he runs. So he's good, and I think he's right around there, the fifth ranked QB. I agree with you there, Shlongy. Um, I don't know if I'd reach that high though, because I would like. I think Hurts is good in fantasy. I think he's great in fantasy, but I think you can also get some comp player like maybe Jaden Daniels or a Jackson Dart until Jackson Dart gets hurt. Um, Maybe a Drake May round 6 or something. So, and I would be just as happy with one of them as with Jalen Hurts. So I think Jalen Hurts is a great fantasy quarterback, but I wouldn't reach like that high as Joe would. But I mean, Joe won the championship when he did that, so I mean, I can't knock it if
Right.
it works.
And as they said, the whole offense is different this year. And some of the rumors they have, at least from minicamp and part of training camp right now, is they're doing various things with the tush push now. So it's no longer just going right up the center. They're talking about it's like a design QB sneak where they're going to actually swing it out wide with Hurts or Saquon or somebody. So it's the evolution, I guess, of the offense is what I am watching for with the Eagles. And that one with Hurts, with Devonta, because Devonta is number one. And I think the next question you have is who's the number two? That's where it is. Malachi Lemon, everybody's talking about because he's that rookie. The Eagles are apparently very high on Octavian Wicks, which is interesting. That might be a nice little sleeper
He's
because that's
pretty
the
good.
first. Oh yeah, I mean he was great in Green
I
Bay.
liked him in Green
So
Bay.
it's interesting to see how that will
But
come about.
I think Goddard comes in second with targets. I don't know about yardage and all the other stuff, but I think as far as targets go, I think he's the receiver that will see the second most balls.
Well, he's that safety blanket for Hurts, so I don't argue on that one. When it comes to that. Um, Now with my third guy or my second guy, excuse me, I actually went with somebody who I spoke about last week. So in the fades last week, I talked about fading Jalen Waddle. And part of that was because where he was being drafted, which was, I feel, too early for the wide receiver two on a team. And I said Cortland Sutton was the better guy because you can get him 50 picks later and he's going to produce. So Cortland Sutton is the guy I definitely want. And he's kind of the similar to Jacoby Myers. So again, he's average draft position is 97. So he's one pick behind Parker Washington. But Cortland Sutton, people don't like him because he's a boring player. You know what the boring player did last year? He finished wide receiver 11 in all of fantasy. 124 targets, 74 receptions, 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. I'm sorry. He scored more fantasy points than he scored more points than AJ Brown, Drake London, Abuka, CeeDee Lamb, Waddle, and Jefferson. And all these people finished in the top 25. So let's not kid ourselves. People just don't like him because he's not flashy. He doesn't have that pizzazz. He's that red zone target, I guess you can say, where he does. He gets 7 touchdowns. But you
Yeah.
know what? Again, if I'm looking for a wide receiver three or a flex guy, Cortland Sutton deep in a draft is amazing. And let's throw this fun little caveat as well. Jalen Waddle picked up a minor soft tissue injury today. So, guess what? The long history of Jalen Waddle with soft tissue injuries is already starting. And depending on what that injury is, even though it's minor, it can linger. It's going to hold him back, at least limited for a few days, maybe a week, depending on how it is. And that's time that you definitely need to rapport when you're in pads, in practice, going into preseason games with a quarterback you're not familiar with. So Sutton over me, over Waddle any day. And again, I'm getting him in, round 6 or 7 as a wide receiver three for me. How do you feel about that, Bonnie?
I'm kind of shocked that he's ranked so low, after you rattled off those numbers. I guess I would like to see when he performed those, like when he got a lot of those yards and touchdowns. Was it in like garbage time or like meaningless games or something? Because I'm kind of shocked he's ranked that low. Uh, I think it's a great pick for where he's ranked. Uh, but I mean, I don't know. Cortland Sutton's he's just boring. I don't like boring. I like flashy.
But you know what the
Yeah,
funny
there's
go ahead.
nothing wrong with boring. And you know who he actually reminds me of? Another boring player retired, which I believe you hated him, was Demarius Thomas,
Oh
another boring
yes.
player who put up lots of big numbers. And I remember
DT.
just hating him because you're like, this guy sucks. I'm like, no, he doesn't actually. Oh, he's so slow. Yeah, well, he's getting every ball and he's scoring
It's
touchdowns.
true. He was like he I never liked him though. He's kind of like Cortland Sutton to me.
But again, but here's the thing. Again, if I'm getting in and for me personally, if I go in the early rounds and I'm getting a wide receiver that is flashy, and let's just say my guy Jamar Chase. I love Jamar Chase. There's the flashy guy. There's my flash guy. And then let's say I snag another wide receiver who's equally as flashy. or who kind of high ceiling. I don't want that at all my wide receivers at a high risk, high reward. I want that boring, safe option that I know, on a daily basis is going to get 6 to 10 targets per game, who's going to average over 60 yards per game. I mean, that's what I'm going for. I don't care, especially for a wide receiver three. I don't need that flashiness because you're talking about Parker Washington. How risky is Parker Washington, especially in that offense, when there is Brenton Strange, when there is Brian Thomas Jr., when there is Jacoby Myers. Let's include Chris Rodriguez, who's the pass catching running back. Bashal Tuin. I'm just throwing names out there, but
Stop while you're
I
ahead.
mean, Tuin Carolina.
Listen,
I mean,
Jacoby Myers is another one of your simple guys that you like, right? Like, so
right.
you like the quiet, like guys who just get the job done.
I want that. I want that equal balance. I want that equal flashy mixed with the balance guy that just does what he needs to do week in and week out. And if his minimum, again, same like Jacoby Myers, if his minimum is 12 points a game, I'm perfect. I mean, he basically, as the 11th quarterback, it was 181 points was what he put up last year, 182.7, based on our league, which was a half point PPR. But again, in 17 games that he played, that's over 10 points a game. I will take that out of my wide receiver three flex any day of the week. So that's me personally on that one. And that's why I'm grabbing him too. Him and Jacoby. And then taking money from Bonnie again. More money from him.
Good luck with that, GL.
All right. So, again, now with drafting, everybody has their own strategy. And those could range from, as Joe pointed out, taking a risk and jumping up and reaching early for a player. Steve, you mentioned something about tight ends earlier in the show. And that got us thinking, going into this, like, what are some strategies that you use? And for this one, we're defaulting to Steve on this one, who has 3, 5, 6. We don't know how many strategies he has going into this. So,
I got
Steve,
six. I
well,
got six strats
you
for
got
you.
6. All right, perfect.
Yeah. So first one, and I mean, not everyone has the same strats or follows the same strats. So I'm just giving you some of mine. Schlongy said how he loves very boring guys with, I guess, high floors but low ceilings. I'm actually the opposite. Give me the high ceiling at wide receiver three. So I target guys like high variance. I'm talking Alec Pierce, Rashid Shaheed, guys that can pop off and win you the game any any given week, you know? So I don't like boring. That's why I hated DT. I really don't like Cortland Sutton. I don't care if you're good for like a reliable 8 points or I don't know, 9, 10 points a game. I would rather gamble on a Rashid Shaheed 90-yard bomb that could win me the week. And I know there's a lot of you out there. Like Christian loved Rashid Shaheed. I think he's had him like the last couple of years. Alec Pierce is always taken. Those two names come to mind, but there's a lot of guys like that, and there's new guys that come up like that every year. So that's one strat. I like the high variance guys at wide receiver three.
So,
Uh,
well, you called me out on this one, so I'm going to respond to you on this one, on that one, and I understand that, and you know, and again, for me, it's the balance. If I already have that high risk guy, I don't need all my wide receivers for that hit or miss, and you mentioned, the 90-yard bomb for the touchdown. Yeah, all right, great. That's 16, 17 points right there, depending on what kind of league you're in. But that you're not getting each and every single week. Shaheed is not, and we'll stay with Shaheed because that's who you used. That's, it's a hit or miss. And I get the high risk. And yes, there's times where that comes into play and you want that. But the goal of the game is to win. So, do you want a high risk, high reward guy? Yes, that's nice, and it's good to have every once in a while. But how many times did people get a Rashid Shaheed, or like let's say a Christian Watson, who had a great game, and then everybody got him, and then he had two clunkers, and then they bench him, and then when he's on the bench, he has a great game, and then you start in the following week because he had that amazing game, and guess what? He clunked again, and you've lost.
Well,
I
that's all part of the strat. You got to ride or die with
Right,
these guys. You can't just like be wishy washy and like they didn't produce 1 week, so you bench him, and then that week you bench him, he pops off for 20 points. You got to just ride or die. You got to roll with these guys and just like handle the variance. So I don't mind the variance. That's my strat. I would rather take the flashy guys who could possibly go for 30, but they could also go for like five or two or something like that. I think that that wide receiver three position, especially, like I can rely on my other positions to give me those definite points and give me the high variance for possibly popping off the win. And also because of our league having the payout to the high score of the week, you can get a high score of the week if one of your guys hits for 20 points at a wide receiver three.
fair enough. What do you got for number five?
Uh, number two, are we counting
Well,
down?
we're counting down,
Sure.
so this would be
All right, number
second one
five.
and number five, whatever you want to say.
I pay attention to contracts. Contracts and signings matter. So who's getting paid? Who just got paid? Who is playing to get paid? All these things matter. So keep an eye on that. Like I think you had mentioned earlier in the show that Bijan just got paid. The wide receiver from the little guy from the Ravens just got paid.
Flowers.
Flowers. So, I mean, Flowers as an example, since he just got paid, I think he got paid quite a bit for how he's performed thus far, surprisingly a lot. So, I would expect him to be pretty involved in the offense because I would hope they would involve him after they paid him that much damn money. It's just logic flow there. So, pay attention to contracts, who's working for one, who just got paid. That all matters.
Joe, what's your situation? What do you feel thoughts on the contract and paying attention for that draft strategy?
Uh, I think that matters only for like a top tier guy like a Bijan. Um, I mean, if you're in like the seventh round or later and someone has a contract issue, maybe I don't know, I probably wouldn't look too much into that. But as far as your core, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that matters. Because there's a lot of guys who get disgruntled pretty quickly if they're not getting paid or they don't think they're going to get paid. And then they'll just either not play or take plays off or whatever their strategy is or fake an injury. I don't know. So yeah, I mean that stuff does matter.
What do you got for number four, Bonnie?
We got 14 teams, so I think you should take your running backs early. Wide receivers can be acquired later. It's hard to find bell cows these days. There are a few here and there that get a lot of carries. If you can get your hands on one of them, I'd take them. So I'm talking like, who are we talking about? Let me look at the wide receiver or running backs real quick. One that I loved last year that I don't think I'm going to be able to get this year unless I'm lucky. Omarion Hampton from the Chargers. I think he's going to go get a lot of carries. James Cook from Buffalo. Jonathan Taylor with the Colts. Bijan, now that his cuff has left for another team. So try to draft your running back early. There's a shit ton of wide receivers that you can get later. But in a 14 team league, it's hard to get running backs that matter.
Joe, what do you think about that one? I'll default to you. Because you have a history of going heavy on running backs early in drafts.
I'm on mute. Yeah, I like taking the a running back with my first pick. Um, And in a 14 league team, I couldn't agree more. The running back is going to be an important piece that you have, but you have to be careful too, right? Because if everyone's concentrating on running back, also got to have like a feel during the live draft. Because if you say you got like the eighth pick and you see people are just going back, 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 and you see all these backs going off the board, don't follow suit. Go grab the next best player. If that's a wide receiver, go grab him. If that's a quarterback, go grab him. But like if they're not all popping off the board, absolutely. I agree with the running back strategy. And that goes, you could use that in reverse for anything else. If all these wide receivers are going off the board, grab a running back or something.
Don't chase the run.
Exactly. Exactly.
What do you got for number 3, Bonnie?
Uh, I always use dice or flip a coin when I'm in the draft. Like a lot of times, I will have like 3 guys, and I don't know which one to freaking pick. So I'll just fucking roll the dice. 1 through 2 gives me this dude. 3, 4 gives me this guy. 5, 6 gives me the other guy. Don't beat yourself up. Listen, it's just a fucking game. All right. But roll the dice. I'm a big gambler, so maybe that's why I like rolling the dice or flipping the coin, whatever. But that's just something that I do during the draft.
All right. I mean, God bless you for that one, child. Jesus Christ. I mean, I think that, I mean, that's your personal strategy. I know for me, um, I have my kind of my draft planned out. I have and I know you guys made a comment about my team the last couple of years and players not producing. That's a different argument.
Couple of years.
Hey, I was in the championship 2 years, 3 years ago. I don't want to hear it.
That was the
Um,
worst ass whooping in a championship game ever.
yes, it was. It's all right. How'd you do in the semifinals? Oh, that's right, you lost.
Who did I
So
lose to? The
you
guy who
lost to the
had two
champ,
first round
just like I
picks?
lost to the champ. At least the difference is I lost in the championship and I got paid. So, I
Ooh.
like to have a me personally. I can't flip a coin. I can't be like, oh, do I get this guy or this guy? I've got who I want, who I look at each round. I break down my draft, my rankings, and by 12 last year. This year it's gonna be by 14. And I'm gonna have my list of guys who it's like, okay, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy are all on my list that I want to take in this round. And I'm gonna put those lists in order how I want them. And there may be a couple of things where if all my list is taken from that round and everybody's available in the next round, I'll drop down to that next round to reach up and grab him, I guess you can say. So I want to make sure that I always have an option where I'm not deciding who is one. So I mean, God bless you on that one, flipping the coin on chance and luck and everything. But I couldn't do that.
Schlung your
Well, this
last
game is
brain.
chance and luck.
I
A lot
know.
of it, anyway.
What's your number 2 strategy?
All right. This one, Jane, I love this one, Shwangy. Don't be a fucking bitch. Take a guy from your team that you like. So I'm taking G Dub this year. If I can get G Dub, I'm taking G Dub. I don't care if he's on the Jets and everyone shits on the Jets all day long. I'm a jet lover, baby. So, I hate these guys that have this strategy of, oh, that's my team, so I don't want to take a guy from my team because then I got to be worried if they're gonna do bad or good or root for them or I can't bet on my team. That's a bitch move, bro. Just take the guys from your team. Be a man. Don't be a bitch.
What do you say, Mr. Be a Man over there?
Um, I agree with it because I am taking guys that I like. I take guys from teams that I like. I avoid guys from teams I dislike. So I
But
mean,
your team, Joe, is the Giants, right?
it's a comp. Yes. So historically, it has been. And I feel like over the last like 4 or 5 seasons, I've slowly like separated myself from that. And I'm actually almost looking for a new team. And in the interim, I've kind of it's weird how I adopted the Eagles because the Eagles are in the same division. But
He's a poppy. Stop lying to yourself.
I'm not against rooting for the Jets either. Like the Jets haven't won. Like I'm a sucker for teams that haven't won in decades, right? And the Giants arguably won the best Super Bowl of all time against the Patriots. Like I've seen them do the best
Which
against
one?
the best. And so that's why I'm not afraid to go look for, you know what, I want to go root for something different. And so that's why I love Jalen Hurts. So automatically I default to the Eagles. But like the Jets, I don't mind the Jets either though, because they are terrible. They're a joke. And as a Mets fan, that's
True.
what I'm used to. As a Knicks fan, that's what I was used to. Like that's I root for the underdog.
Well, Kamish, how about you? What's your position on this strategy of mine?
You know what? I will let you guys default on this one. I'm staying out of this one. Like a
I think I know why.
bitch. Bonnie,
All right.
what is your number one draft strategy?
All right. My number one draft strat, which I don't like disclosing my secrets, but this is my secret strat.
Everyone knows what we're all doing.
Right, seriously.
I like to look at the captains of every team, and I really give that a lot of uh it matters when I choose who I'm going to draft. Like I look at the captains. I have this like mentality of if you're the captain, like a lot of your teammates are going to like, they voted you as the captain. They rely on you as being a focal point of the offense. They're going to depend on you probably throughout the entire year. So you don't have to worry about like benching. Of course injuries, that happens to everybody, but for random benching, like that's something that everyone hates. So I look at the captains, and if I like the captains, if I think they can perform, they're relatively young and they're not just getting captain because they're old and experienced, but they're good, then I try to target those players.
All right, that's it. That's an interesting one. I never actually thought about the captain um approach on that in terms of draft strategy. Because you don't really know who the captains are until after we draft. You could I guess you could guess it off last season or who they are in preseason, I guess.
I
That's
usually go
definitely
off
an
the
interesting
last
one.
season then.
What's up?
I go off the last season.
Okay. Wems are on a different team.
Well, then, yeah, then you can't, that doesn't apply, of course.
Fair enough. Joe, have you ever used a captain to determine your draft?
Never.
Right. It's you know what?
All about
It's
how many drinks I have and what my gut tells me.
I mean,
This
granted,
captain, the
I
captain of
can't
shit.
bash, Bonnie's logic on this one. That's his draft strategy, and he made it to the semifinals last year. So clearly he's up there.
We'll get him a participation award.
Well,
Thank you.
he's just like the rest of us. All right. That is the end of this episode, guys. Thanks for toughing it out with us on this one. Please go ahead, like the video. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel so we'll keep on growing as we keep on going through and progressing and evolving, especially as we're coming up to draft season and the regular season coming up. Steve, Joe, do you guys have any parting words for the audience?
I actually have a question, and it's for you, Schlungy.
Sure.
How many new guys again are in the league? Is it two?
So we added two new players, but it's actually three. Um, Two players who were separated joined Team the Brothers. So Max and Jake. Um, so they're combined into one team, which is gonna be great because their dynamic by themselves is hilarious. So watching them co-manage a team is gonna be fun to watch. And we do thank them for that sacrifice to accommodate us on this one. But so we have bumped up from a 12 team to a 14 teamer, but there's, I think you're coming back, so you weren't actually there
I'm
last
not
year.
new, yeah.
In the league you're new, but I would say yeah, we got about four new players coming in. So
Four.
well, I mean it's when you rotate all the players, you
No, no, no.
brought
I'm asking the new faces. How many new faces there are? Two, right?
From last year to this year.
Yes.
Joe and
um
Robert.
It's Robert and it's
Jack,
Zach Jack. Okay.
and there's a third as well. Um, hold on, now you're making me look. I don't want to look at this shit. Hold on.
I think we should introduce the new guys.
Oh, we'll save that for a special one.
Well,
I'll
no, I
do
don't
that
mean
in.
right now.
I'm not doing it right now. Fuck that. Um, Here I can tell you. God damn it, you're making me do this live. Uh, Jack. Rob. Yeah, I guess it is Jack and Rob are the only two. I felt like
That's
we
what I
had
thought.
somebody.
Okay.
I feel like there's somebody else I'm missing on this, or at least I think maybe I'm considering you as the new person because you weren't. I know you've been around and you're part of the league, but you weren't part of the league last year, is what I'm saying. You weren't one
One
of the
year
12 teams.
hiatus is not like a missing persons report.
Except this is a new league. You played in the other league, not this league.
Whatever, whatever. Just all right. Good night.
All right. Yes, this is the end. Bonnie, do you have any parting words as he had to focus on this
No, I
bullshit?
was just confused there. So the two guys who are joining up on the same team, that's Dildo Cannon and Big Papa.
Yes, that's Max and Jake. Yes.
Are they brothers for real?
I thought they were cousins.
Cousins, whatever they're. They're family.
Oh, okay.
They're family. I don't know. They're
I didn't
they're
know
part of
that.
your
All right,
people. They're
cool.
part of Sal's people.
Yeah, well, yeah, I just didn't know they were cousins. All right, cool.
I knew they were related, and it was the debauchery between all of that.
Nice. All right, no, I got nothing else.
All
Everyone have
right.
a
So as you
good night.
can enjoy the parting words of our debauchery that's called our league. Joe, Steve, thank you both as always. We will see you guys next week. Stay classy, guys, and have a great evening.
Yes.
Night.
Turtle wax looked good tonight, Schlongy.
Fuck you. Have a good evening, guys.